Hey everyone, I don't know if it's working or not. I had to stop off at my in-laws' cottage here so I could go live for the Wise Ball show because I was at my development project and realized that, please let me know if you can hear me or see me. I am on like rural Wi-Fi, so they apparently have 1 megabit upload. So I don't know if my phone is going to work here, if we'll even have a stream at this point. So I guess we'll see. And if you can hear me, let me know. Qatar, good to see you on. So really quick, I got to be like a 10 or 15 minute stream because I'm jacking my in-laws Wi-Fi at their cottage. So welcome to the cottage. William, how you doing? You can hear me, okay. So I'm on my phone, literally just connected to Wi-Fi. I don't know how their Wi-Fi is out here. Again, 1 megabit. I hope it's coming in not too pixelated. Maybe I'll get lucky because there's no other devices on and it'll be okay. So we're gonna do a quick Wise Well show today. It's going to be, I would say, maybe 20 minutes or so. So jump in your questions and let me know what's good. Yeah, so what am I doing? I am in Plimpton, Wyoming, near my land development project. There we got my first development project. So we bought a property that's over an acre parcel and we divided it into 4 lots. We're building 4 $700,000 cottages, and the existing house is a 4-bed, 4-bath, beautiful bungalow, which we're going to be listing in the next 2 months. So getting that finished up and wrapped up and all those sorts of things. So that's exciting. And realized it was Wednesday. I was like, is it Wednesday today already? Like, I'm not sleeping enough. So now I'm here, just going live for you at my in-laws' cottage. And just so happened it's halfway point between where I was and London. So I just knew I wouldn't make it back in time for the Wise Well show or the Mike Rosehart show. So welcome back to the Mike Rosehart show. Here we go. What was my title for today? I was driving, and as I was driving, I was feeling overwhelmed with all of the work that I have to do tonight and all of the businesses and things that I run and do. And it, out of passion, became something that drew me out of retirement. And I want to talk about retiring now rather than later is more the focus of this episode, by embracing more frugality. And so I think that one of the biggest things people don't consider is the toll that working has on your relationships, your family, your personal health. And so people will work in jobs that they hate for longer than they need to, or run businesses that they don't enjoy for longer than they need to, because they believe that for whatever reason, still connected here? Yeah. So for whatever reason, they believe that what's going to happen is that if they won't have enough. And so everyone thinks that if they don't have enough, that they're going to be in a position of like, oh, they have to go back to work. And like, that's not a huge problem, actually. So I don't know, bring your guys' questions in with the live Q&A, but like we always do every single time. But I just wanted this episode, the title was kind of about that concept. I was thinking to myself, like, I'm at a point where I would love to pull back a little bit. I would love to spend more time decompressing, spending time with family, doing the things that are important to me. I did an Instagram post about how I've been spending my time lately, and I spend 90 hours a week on work. I guess 20 of them is like chores for family, so that's like, do you count that as work? I sort of do if it's like, I don't know, if I'm taking care of like a child in a like caring for them perspective, that's in a lot of ways work. People call like being a parent, being like a full-time dad or full-time mom, they call that work. So I'm gonna call it work too. And I try to be an active, engaged dad and husband, and so that's something that I do too. But yeah, it's just thinking through. I'm like, 90 hours a week is what I'm currently spending, and that's spending like 9 or 10 hours on some of my businesses. And I can't give the businesses the time that they need because there's not enough hours in the day, and I've just bitten off more than I can chew. And so it's, I've just kind of thought it makes a lot of sense to me to pare back, and so that's what I'm going to be doing over the next few months. Paring back and focusing on the things that matter most. My favorite investors, my favorite properties. I'll be selling. If people are interested I got some properties that we're going to be selling that have good equity positions for us, or whatever, for whatever reason, we just don't want them a part of our portfolio, mostly because they've appreciated a lot and we got them really cheap. And so it makes sense to sell those off. They cash flow really good, some of them. Almost 1% rule here in London, Ontario. So people are interested in that. There'll be some paring back, right? The management piece will be outsourced. The construction piece potentially outsourced. A lot of that, less me managing and more outsourcing, and that'll help us scale and do what I love, which is look at properties, buy properties, and make YouTube videos. So focusing on what I love and what I enjoy doing. And I want to get back into playing World of Warcraft. I used to play it heavily. It taught me the basic economics of trade. So I used to use the auction house trading in World of Warcraft, and it taught also, I was listening to an audiobook actually on my way to this, like actually coming here to the cottage to do the stream for you guys at the halfway point. It's called Outliers. I think it's like the story of success by Mark Gladwell, I think, or Max Gladwell. I have to double check. Sounds about right. And he's talking in one of the chapters about, hey, William, how you doing? I saw a super chat pop up. Live. Hey, thanks for the super chat. Means a lot. Mike, congrats. Hey, if you fail a lead test inspection and paint exterior, how does the contractor rectify this? How common is this? I've not failed a lead inspection test before. I've never had one of those tests before, but my understanding would be that, lead inspection test. So if you got lead in your paint, then you'd have to probably remediate in some way, especially if you disturb the paint. I think it's more of an issue if you're sanding or drilling or doing construction work and like getting the lead paint into the air. That's probably the biggest issue. Not an expert on this, but in my experience where we've had like asbestos or lead, I've just brought in someone who like was a specialist in that. Most of what I found is that like for asbestos, for instance, if you just spray it with a spray bottle, you keep the particles from becoming airborne, and it's a non-issue. Toss it in a garbage bag, bring it to the right facility, like the dump has places you can dump asbestos product. Lead paint's the same thing. As a kid, my mom sanded our floors when I was like 10, and they were lead paint floors, and got the dust everywhere on our beds, on our couches and stuff. And I had minor lead poisoning, and it was terrible. So lead poisoning is not fun. I had to take they try to like take iodine and stuff to get like the heavy metals and stuff like that in the lead out of the body. So that's scary shit that you're dealing with. Do not sand and get it into the air and then have people live there. That's definitely not a thing you want to do. I grew up with that. You don't want that. So you want to remediate that probably. I would say like paint, there might be I don't know, but maybe you could look and see if there's a special paint that could go over, like maybe you could put it over top and it would seal it. I'm not sure if that exists or not, but yeah, I'm sure you could, there must be remediation methods. You could Google that and find ways to, I wish I had a better answer for that, but I haven't come across a ton of lead paint. I think maybe there might have been some in our properties and we've just painted over and never noticed. I've just never had it tested. In old houses, I'm sure it's very common to have lead paint, like especially on the exterior. I'm thinking of like an exterior wooded siding, often painted by oil paint that probably contain lead or lead paint. So yeah, what I've done is just like primered it and painted over. If it's in, like, chip it off, like use a spatula and chip all the bad areas off, contain those chips into a bag and like seal it, maybe wear a mask when you're doing it, and then like just dispose of it and then go over top, and then you'd have no issues. It'd be sealed, right? And all the flaked areas would be off, so then you could get a nice seal base to contain it. And so I think that'd be safer. With like sometimes with siding like that, people will just go over top. They'll put like vinyl siding right over top of like old lead paint and stuff like that. So that's a good way to cover it up on the exterior. Just gotta be careful when you're drilling into it. Yeah, that's totally right, 100%. Hark's Creative, Kyle, how you doing? Smash that like button, everyone. It's common in the States. Detroit is one of those states that has a big problem with it, I believe. Yeah, so interesting. Yeah, so this is just supposed to be a quick stream. I'm gonna probably let it go. Like, I don't know if it's even working, if our Wi-Fi is even strong enough that people can see me. I guess see a little tour. Pretty cool little cottage. I can't walk very far because if I do, you'll probably lose connection. But I should just show you guys the water out here real quick. Can you guys see the lake behind the trees there? You guys see that? Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful Lake Huron right there, guys. So, hashtag blessed. Picked this property up pretty cheap, I think, too. So, deals. Yeah, if no one has any other questions, then I'll wrap this stream up a little early. I don't even know if the stream is going through because I'm on, like, again, rural internet right now. You're like, Mike, why would you go on if you don't, like you're FI, like, can't you just take a day off? I could. It's, like, again, not about the money that I do this at all. Bitcoin. Not a fan of Bitcoin, not a fan of crypto. Am a big fan of people who are super frugal and find ways to, they find ways to be super economical with their money. So you can imagine you could pick up a part-time job, working 5 hours a week, doing something you love at like $30 an hour. It's $150 a week, and then that would pay your rent, and then you have your portfolio do the rest. So my point of this video was thinking about that concept of like semi-retirement, where you're like, your portfolio is halfway there to retirement and you just retire anyway. and you realize you're gonna have to work part-time, but you no longer have to do the job that you don't enjoy. And so I'm giving you guys, as like the personal finance authority, I guess, or like the fire authority, I'm giving you permission to, if you're halfway there, to quit your jobs and do what you love, and the rest will follow. You'll find if you line up a full-time job or a part-time job instead of a full-time job, what you'll find is you'll make enough to survive. Maybe your savings rate won't be as high, but you'll make enough to get by. And more likely than not, what I found by most early retirees that I followed is their passions make them a lot of money. They start doing things that they love, and it makes them a ton of money. And also, what they find is that part-time, they make way more per hour. So there's like the coder example, a guy who's coding for like 70 grand a year, quits his job and codes part-time 5 hours a week. And instead of making, 60 grand a year, he's making 28 bucks an hour. Now he's making 100 an hour part-time and working way less hours, making less than they were before. But say you're making $30,000 a year now, working 8 or 10 hours a week. That's way better, in my opinion, than making 60 grand a year and grinding 60 hours a week. So you've got to think through the value of your time, and you're making a compromise often to retire early. But I think that the most important things in your life are often not money, like time with friends, time with family, time to like sleep and be introspective and do those things that you enjoy and chase your hobbies. That's important. And I think a little bit of work makes you feel fulfilled, makes you feel whole, and it's important. You need to have some work in your life. So like just doing like a part-time, I think just doing like a project. It was like a contract-based project where like only doing a certain portion of that development. And so that's where you get a lot better hourly when you're a contractor, right? Like it's the same thing in whatever you do. Like an accountant working full-time makes like 70 grand a year, but doing taxes, they make $200 an hour billable. So you could open your own firm and make way more money. Or you can imagine you're a contractor and you work right now as a contractor and you make $30 an hour on salary. But you go on your own and you start building $100 a job, like $100 an hour. Most contracting companies build that kind of money, right? Yes, you have a little overhead, but you have more autonomy and you make way more money per hour. Same thing is true with like anything that, like what I was doing before. I was working a full-time job in consulting, making 55 grand, 60 grand a year. My highest year, I made $60,000 a year. When I came out of that, after 3 years as a manager, I could easily have gotten a job consulting part-time at $100 an hour. So my hourly rate would have went way up, and I could have worked a lot less hours and had more. So that's the idea, is that you can do more, you can be more, you can have more by working less. And so it's a weird kind of thing, especially when I was talking about earlier, that book, The Outliers, or I think it's just called Outliers. And Myron Gaines, when are you going to collab with Graham Stefan? So I have collabed with Graham. He and I did a live stream a year and a quarter ago. He and I did a video a little over a year ago with the cash on the table. You can find that on his channel, and I've done clip-its in my videos as well. So we've collabed before. I like Graham. He's a good guy. He's popping off. He's crushing his YouTube channel lately. I wish I could spend the time that he does to get the results that he does, but I have a million different other businesses, and honestly, just not as good as he is. Like my camera presence isn't as good as Graham's. His editing, he's a good editor. He's a good video planner. I'm just not as good as him. And maybe I could be if I spent more time doing it. But right now, I'm happy doing it part-time. Sometimes when you take something that you love and you do it like full-time, you end up hating it. Like I enjoy doing renovations. I enjoy designing properties for best use. I go into a property, it's like a 3-bed, 1 bath, and I convert it into a 4-bed, 4 bath. The same square footage. I just reallocated it to 4 beds, 4 baths with en suites and everything. I've just changed the use of the space to be more efficient, more effective, and often make a lot of money doing that. I did that now full time. Like I've made investors in the last year, I've made investors over $1 million, well over $1 million. And so it's one of those things where now that I do it so much, like I have like 10 flips, or like not flips, but some of them are flips, some of them are cash flow turnaround projects. But I'm doing so many at once that I started to hate. Like I literally cringe when a contractor or someone texts me, when my phone rings, when I walk into a Home Depot or a Rona, when I go on sites often, I don't enjoy it anymore. And so I have to make a shift and a change. And so sometimes simplifying and doing less is more. Like doing for me a flip every 3 months is, it's 4 flips a year, it's nothing. Like that's like a super part-time job. I would enjoy that. I'd make maybe 150 grand a year doing that. That'd be great. I could do that all day, but doing 100 flips, now I hate my life. So it's it's interesting that sometimes more money doesn't mean more happiness. Like in the last year, I've probably made almost $1 million. I've made more than $1 million in the last year, and that's high. Like for a Canadian who's 26 years old to make $1 million puts me at like 0.0001% top. Like I'm definitely in the top handful of people earning wise, right? And most of that's equity, so I don't even pay tax on it. It's tax free as the properties appreciate in value and as I add value to them. But it's crazy telling you guys as someone who's made $1 million in a year, and someone who's made nothing in a year, and someone who's frugal as hell and been less frugal as of late, right, with all my business expenses. I can tell you for a fact, I am less happy now having made $1 million in a year than I was making 50 grand a year working full time 9 to 5. It's interesting that money doesn't make you happier. I've proved it. I've said it before on my channel, on my blog 2-3 years ago. Then I went and beta tested it and did it for you guys to prove that the money doesn't make you happy. Like I've got lots of money and it doesn't make me happy. I still have bags under my eyes because my phone rings at 8 o'clock in the morning when I have like 10 employees and people relying on me, and not employees, but like contractors calling me and investors calling me and all these people relying on my expertise. And that's a lot. It's a lot of mental strain, and your health is more important than your money after a certain point. So if you got like $1 million, it's the same thing as having like 5 or even like $8 million or $10 million. There isn't a huge difference. There just isn't. Like I was looking at, let's say you're making 100 grand a year passive income. Is there a difference between 100 grand a year passive income and 500 grand a year passive income? I have a nice house. My family's happy. I can do whatever I want. I can take nice vacations. I can drive a car that I like. There's no difference. Like the lifestyle change is almost nothing. So why kill yourself and push yourself when you don't need to? So that's my rant. That's my thought. Just this thought was going through my head today. And so I'm giving you guys permission, if you're halfway to retirement, maybe think about finding that part-time opportunity, that side gig, start that entrepreneurial venture, and jump off the deep end. You know that you have time you can invest to earn and make more money. And if it all fails, you can just go back and get a job. But I bet you it's not going to fail. More likely than not, if you've made it this far, if you saved enough money that you're pretty much halfway to financial independence, I'm confident you'll make it the rest of the way. I'm confident that you'll find the string to the parachute on the way down. So jump off that plane. And so that's my stream for today. Maybe I'll answer some questions if there's anything. Gabe Lumbee, how you doing? I work around 25 hours a week and gross $12,000 a month. That's amazing. Self-employed CPA. If you have hard skills, self-employment is the way to go. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, if you have something that's very easily marketable or you can turn into your own business, do that. Like, don't work in a salaried job making $5 grand a month, slaving away. So 100% agree. Wish I was halfway through. Really loved your whiteboard video Saturday. Thanks, How to Save. I'll try to do more of those whiteboard videos, so I'm hoping that can help you guys and be a different style for us. Your videos give the best perspective and motivation. Nikki Met Finance, thanks, appreciate that. I'll edit for you. It's my job and I love editing. Qatar. Yeah, Harks is gonna jump in there. Kyle's gonna jump in there, he's Harks Creative. He's gonna jump in there and try to defend that because he loves doing the editing and he's been a part of the channel for like the last year. He's deeply embedded at this point. I won't be outsourcing unless Kyle wants to outsource. But if someone wants to volunteer and work with Kyle, I'm sure he'd be open to that. House hack in 90 days. Just watch. Nice. Yeah, you guys know I'm moving to my new house. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want people to find me. People are already finding my old house and they were messaging me. And so I'm not going to talk about that too much, but I'm moving into a beautiful mentee dream house. And it's actually like a personal dream house. So I'm really excited for that. But it's frugal. It's low key. Doesn't look super extravagant, in a great neighborhood. Tank toy for Boeing. Granite. Man, I'm so confused. So confused right now, guys. If you're watching this, smash the like button. I missed a question. So I've been doing a lot of research recently and finally decided that I'm going to be investing mostly in real estate and instead of going all the ETFs. Okay. This is in large part thanks to you. Wow. Interesting. So you've switched from the 4% safe withdrawal rate to now maybe more of a real estate approach. That's not a bad idea. I think that real estate is extremely safe if you buy cash flowing real estate. I think if you buy properties that cash flow $1,000 a month, you don't care about price fluctuations. You're on 2-year leases, people are paying their rent. Rents don't usually go down, they stay flat. Vacancy rates can go up, but rents typically don't fall. So you're likely, if you bought with $1,000 margin, even if rents fell, if you had vacancy, you would still have cash flow. And so that feels really conservative. If you're buying real estate in a developed nation like Europe, US, Canada, you're relatively stable. The governments will step in and stabilize the real estate market. They will literally stimulate the economy to ensure real estate doesn't drop. So because of those reasons and a number of other reasons I could go into in like an hour-long video, I think real estate is an extremely important part of the North American's retirement portfolio. Even if, and I think if you don't like managing property, which I hate managing properties, I have management in place now. And so find good, competent management or good, competent JV partners and bring them on. That's the way to do it. The key there is to say, I don't want to be managing. Oh, sorry, someone's phone was going off. Is say, I don't want to be managing, but I want the passive income. So instead of maybe $1,100 a month in passive income, you get $850 and you pay a manager to have all the headaches, and you get $850 in your account every single month, no matter what. And you have to just audit their work and make sure that they're not, like some scammy like property management company. But if you've got a good reference and someone else who's using them, it's the best way to find someone is to say, hey, who are the other landlords using, right? Then you can find a good manager. You can have a passive portfolio, just like a dividend portfolio, almost no difference, that is levered, so 20% down, and providing you like 25% return on your money. And often that's paid in a dividend, which is like, there's no companies at that risk level that pay that type of return, which is why real estate's so attractive when you use leverage. Sorry, phone's going off again. Cool. So if you're FI, why do you keep creating businesses and buying more real estate? Seems opposite to what you're teaching. Gabe, you have a good point. Like, touche, fair point. Why? I like building things. I just always have. And so building businesses in concept or in theory was fun. Like having a company of 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 employees, that was a dream of mine. Like I just wanted to do that. It was a goal on my bucket list. Realizing it's not as fun as I had thought. And so making a slight shift to outsource instead of in-house. So I'd rather not have any employees. I'd rather not have payroll to worry about, right? So at the end of the day, I think it's really, really important that, you do what makes you happy. And that's the important piece. Like if you like to code, you code and you do that. But if things don't make you happy anymore, that's like I'm FIRE, right? My portfolio is producing way more passive income than I can ever spend. And for that reason, when I get to a point where I don't enjoy what I'm doing, I can just close that business. I can wrap up. I wish it was like instant. I wish I could just like walk in and say, I'm done. But I have investors, I have employees. It's a long transition for me out of this, not for financial reasons, because of course I got way more than enough money, but for emotional reasons, rapport reasons, just being a good human being. But I am making a transition. I like to buy real estate. I enjoy it. The way I'm going to be buying real estate going forward is with an investor and a mentee. So the mentee does all the heavy lifting. The mentee does all the heavy lifting, and I train them as the mentor, and I do what I love, which is teach. And so that's what I'm going to be doing, is teaching how to find deals. I'm actually working on a private deal right now. We're driving for deals today, and tomorrow I'm going to check it out. So yeah, this is what I love. Like I'm gonna go check out a private deal. It's a great property, really excited about it. It's gonna have property, like potential to add a lot of value, be a great cash flowing property in a great area of London. That excites me. Like the design, then when I close on it, and after I design the floor plans, I hate it. Like after that, I don't like any of it. The tenants, I don't enjoy. I wanna be so distanced from that, just don't even wanna deal with it. That part of the business sucks. And when you have not as much money, or if you enjoy doing that, cool. Like I'm gonna partner with mentees who are willing to take that load on because they want to reach retirement, right? So obviously it gets to a point where you gotta decide what makes sense for you. And I think for me, it's just making sense to make a change. I'll still make money. I'll still do what I like. It'll just be on my own terms. So I can focus on my family. I can focus on the things that I enjoy most. I just did an Instagram post. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should, at Mike Rosehart, where I talked about some of the things that I'm doing right now. And that's where I find my mentees. All my mentees have reached out through, hey Ivan, have reached out through Instagram. And so I'm gonna maybe be taking on one more mentee, but I already have someone in mind. Like I have a wait list of mentees right now people have sent applications in to rosehartproperties@gmail.com, and they've they just sent their application in. You can go on my Instagram, you can find that. You can DM me and I'll give you my email. You can apply. People have even made presentations and sent them to me about why they want to be part of it. I think I'll raise capital, create a mentee fund that seeds down payments and helps people buy properties. That's something I love. Helping people get to FIRE. That's why I started the company that I did, was helping my investors get to FIRE. Karan, you're watching. Nice. Cool. So I am planning to make another shift. So that's what's going on in my life. I'm giving you guys permission to do the same thing. Yeah. that's my stream for today. For the 33 people watching, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. If I missed a question, let me just read it right now, right quick. Your videos are the best. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so your big motivation. Thank you. What do you think about renting in Montreal? I'm neutral on it. I think that if you can have cash flow in the area, it makes sense. I don't speculate. So I don't know what the price of appreciation, but if the cap rates are good, which means price to rent is good, you're in a good position. Gabe says, I've had employees, I would never have them again. Capital works harder than employees ever will. Yes, people keep telling me that. They're like, Mike, multimillionaire, like, what are you doing? Why aren't you just investing your capital and living on the money? I'm like, true. Why am I working so hard for investors when I should be finding a way to make, like, I'm thinking I still want my investors to make money because like, I have a bunch of friends who are investors and people I really like. Those people I think should still be able to get to fire. I just need a mentee to do all the heavy lifting, and then I'll sit back and coordinate the two as well as invest my own capital. So that'll be fun. Anyway, so Mike additional piece of crap Civic got a 2010 Accord, 90K miles for $6,300. Awesome. Don't have a payment, but higher gas, higher insurance, repairs. I don't know if it was worth it. Future winners. I remember you talking about making the shift. Probably the repairs long term are going to save you money, and like you gotta justify it with like, you know, is the depreciation that much? Is it that much more money long term to have a little bit nicer car? Probably worth it for you. Okay, are you interested in the U.S. market? Yes. Raiden Null, stay tuned. I am going to be expanding into the U.S. I'm going to start buying some rental properties there. I need to find a good partner and logistical ground pieces. But yeah, I have an investor who's really interested in the U.S. and I'm actually interested in investing in the U.S. in some specific markets I'll talk about in another episode. But I gotta wrap this up. Don't get burnt out. I'm already burnt out, but I'm pushing past that. People who know me know that I grind hard, and it's just part of my nature. I also take long breaks, so you'll see me playing World of Warcraft in the next couple months, and I'll be playing that hard with the mentees between finding deals. Like the ideal day is like time with family, finding deals, and then gaming or watching movies. Buy real estate with only 25K, but I don't know if it's possible. Could I go to someone selling a house for say 100K and say hey, I'll pay you half? Yeah, it's called a vendor take back mortgage. Can be done for sure. Texas, cool. Check it out. Hoard for life. Anyway, guys, I gotta let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that you all tuned in tonight. And if you're watching the replay, jump in the comments. And if I missed your question, jump in the comments and just let me know. What's your username on WoW Classic? So I'll let you know. I haven't signed up yet, but when I do, I will definitely share it for everyone to connect with me on World of Warcraft. So WoW Classic, of course. But anyway, if I missed your question, just jump in the comments and I'll respond to it later. Thank you all so much for watching and have a good Wednesday. Remember, the secret to unlocking a wealth through you is to spend less, earn more, and maximize the returns. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.